Hola amigos, bien o no, saludos desde Medellín. El tema de hoy, ¿por qué subtítulos son una muy buena idea para ayudarnos a mejorar nuestra nueva lengua? Ese es el tema de hoy. So, hello again. Theme for today, subtitles or closed captions if you prefer. Why are these useful? Why should we use them? And how do they help us? Well, my experience of these this afternoon, I was watching a couple of films on the TV here in Spanish. A curious experience because it's a film I'd seen before in English many, many years ago, but obviously here it's dubbed into Spanish. But luckily it was also with subtitles, so I could watch it with Spanish subtitles and then dubbed into Spanish. So I knew the story, but obviously watching it in Spanish, the soundtrack's a bit different. You have to pick up all the nuance of the conversation, which surprisingly is quite fast. And then with all the other sound effects and other things going on, often a bit difficult to hear. So with the closed captions, really useful, because as you're listening, sometimes there's a word of what was that word they said? And you can see it. So now you know, that's what they said. This makes it a lot easier, one, not to lose track of the plot, because occasionally there's a bit more noise in the background and you didn't quite catch what the actor said, but you can at least see what they were trying to say. I mean, in some ways, it would be really nice if we had this function in real life, because it would help a lot at dinner parties for sure, would it not? So my way of mentioning this is, a lot of the times, it's good just to practice listening. I mean, I listen most days to the news on TV, which doesn't have subtitles. I don't put the subtitles on for that. I just listen. But obviously with that, you get lots more pictures to kind of link, this is what the story's about. And often they do have some kind of captioning underneath to tell you the main purpose of the story. So usually you can guess that from context just by listening. But the advantage when we're talking about films or TV dramas, the real use of the captioning is often, you'll notice, a lot of the dialogue in these shows is very, very rapid. And that's like, wow, what were they talking about? The other week, I was watching an episode of ER, if you remember that show from the 90s. Now that show famously has very complicated dialogue, all the doctors talking, it's an emergency and all the things they need to do. And honestly, following that without any type of subtitles, for me in Spanish is impossible. It's just like, I can see what's happening, but I don't know what's going on, it's too technical. So the subtitles do help quite a lot. So don't be frightened of using them, they're very, very helpful. And of course, if you're watching a film or program where actually you understand it all, it's nice, the dialogue is a bit slower perhaps, or you really understand the particular vocabulary. You can kind of tune them out anyway, it's not too bad. I don't find them ever so distracting really. So I'd encourage you, that's a very useful thing to use, because even if you don't think you really need them, no, it's okay, I can listen and understand. That's great, you just concentrate on listening to the dialogue. But if you get lost at any point, a quick glance at the subtitles brings you straight back into it, and then you don't lose the plot completely with what's going on, because that's really frustrating. So that's my tip for the day. If you're not already doing that, definitely use the closed captions. I believe on this channel, after I posted the video, within a moment or two, the good people at YouTube, their computer automatically issues like captioning for these videos. So hopefully you might find those of some use. I think it tracks it fairly accurately what I'm saying. But it's a useful thing to go with, because sometimes, even if we're trying to be very clear on what we're saying, sometimes we don't quite catch it, or maybe you think that's a strange phrase, why are they saying that? It gives you an idea of really what we are trying to say. So definitely use them if you can. Subtitles, very helpful, And say if you get to a point where, oh, I don't really need these now, great, okay, you've really taken that to a new level. But certainly it's worthwhile, and if you're not using them already, do push that button, put the captions on. It's going to make it a lot easier for you. Okay, that's my thought for the day. So I hope that one helps. So for now, from Medellin, I'll say cheerio.